Good morning, everybody. It's your boy Crispy T right here. I just wanted to get something off my chest. This is a random post. This is not something that I had pre-planned to do or even thought about coordinating my thoughts. This won't even accompany a traditional article like with the Calling of a Ravenous Bird series, and who knows what other series I may just come up with along this journey, because I've just started this channel. But here's something that was particularly annoying me, and it was about biblical numerology. There was a video on the ISN network that I was checking out, and all I did, and under my government name, not even under this Crispy T thing, was I left a message, okay, and a comment, well, on the comment section, and all I said was, people just forget that there's a book called Numbers in the Bible. Fact. That is all I said. And what I was pertaining to is that people start saying that numerology, zodiacs, all that other stuff. And I've told you that I've done that stuff. I've looked into the zodiacs. I've looked into astrology. Those are things that interest me, because if you are interested in spirituality as a whole, you will gain a sort of an understanding that would say, isn't God, who's accepted as the infinite being, all and inclusive in terms of the ways you can reach him, right? Because when you look at the Bible, and the Bible in itself, it does show that it's a story really about Israel, for the most part, hence the emphasis on the Hebrews and all of that. Now, it's a compilation of a number of books, so one must also gain understanding that here it's a living testimony of a certain nation, okay? Which means that there are other nations out there that also need to create their own paradigm and have their own Bibles and be living testimonies. That is why right now we are still being called to look at that and to refer to the Bible as a way to understand that we need to practice faith and what faith believes us. And also there were a whole lot of structures in the Old Testament as to the standards as to how we live by, and Numbers particularly shows that as to what happens when you rebel, especially along the journey to the promised land, and why it had to take 40 years. So anyway, more Christians were jumping out saying to me, about the book of Numbers, it's got nothing to do with numbers or numerology, it's actually about the wilderness. And I'm like, last time I checked, none of you are Hebrew. You're just running with what people are saying. And much as it's also accepted that it was the Greeks who translated it and into something that I forgot the actual word. I don't know if it's arithmoi or something, where we derived arithmetic from, which pertains to mathematics. So I don't understand as to why, when it's stated as a fact in the Bible, right, that numbers were given to a prophet, who Moses was, to then divide his nation. But they only want to look at, it was just a random occurrence, it had nothing to do with that. But why would God instruct somebody to take a census if the numbers are unimportant? And I just find that so interesting that and this is not me to cast judgment, but more so how people like to argue of being right, more because of perpetuated notions and opinions that they have adopted for themselves, instead of something that they've dug deep, and they're not necessarily speaking from their point of departure. So what I'm saying to you is which is something I will get into, by the way. I will speak to you about I've started a Patreon page, and if anyone wants to hop on my Patreon and join me, I'm going to be speaking about my Jesus experience over there. And I would hope that people would just listen to me so they can get a further understanding as to why it's more important to be living the faith. Because as they said, I just want to get the exact quote. I think it's in Peter, in the book of Peter, where he says something about faith without works is dead. Okay, meaning that it was pertaining mainly to explain that somebody has deeds of faith, not necessarily just say that they are of faith. Okay, so, and this is why people must just realize, and before just giving out opinions and casting judgments and wanting to be right, particularly in Christians, and why it sort of got me understanding as to why maybe the rest of the world a little bit don't want to align themselves with Christianity and Christians, because of the fact that this needing to be right situation scenario, and it's just not something I can actually take to, and why it also shows that despite the popularity and the growing numbers of Christians, why media can dominate certain people's opinions and filter them down, and get them to be in line with the popular notions, instead of understanding and to going within and hearing from God Himself on an issue. So this is not me, by the way, trying to justify myself. This is just me thinking, what is the actual, when they say in the whenever once we pass over and we transit, and we'll be explaining the basic our well the deeds of our lives and how we have given account of our lives to Jesus. What are we going to be giving them from? Are we going to be giving them from the fact that we sat at Sunday school, or we sat at church every Saturday, and we read a Bible from book from the first page to the last page? Or are we going to say, well, when you asked me to move, Jesus, and I did it, so what will be the actual standard of measure? And this is what was I was saying in the book of Numbers was about. That yes, it's right, it's about the wilderness, but in that wilderness there was an established order. That is something that nobody wanted to answer and to refer to, which is very strange and a little bit worrying, as that I think there's this thing of plastic Christianity, just to go along, fit in with the crowd. Anyway, I've never been that guy. Hit me up, maybe I'm wrong, but tell me what you want to tell me. Anyway, cheers, and I'll see you on the next ones. Peace, much love and light. God bless the journey. Bye bye.